Hey everyone, welcome to another episode from Pro Engineering. Another installment on the HG-P407. We're going to go ahead and paint this thing up, so let's pull the body off and do some disassembly on it. In preparing the body, I've decided that I want to use the front end from my Trailfinder 2 on this truck. As I have recently learned, the installation of the Trailfinder 2 front end is not as easy as we would hope. There is a slight difference right there. And the reason for this is the geometry of the headlights on the genuine truck went from being round to rectangular, and it did alter the geometry. So we're just going to mark out this area and trim that away. So a little bit of filing and oh wow, it's just about there. Okay, so that's all done. Next, we're going to take some sandpaper and sand down any imperfections in the body, any mold lines, clean up these areas where the wipers were. I'm going to retain the top color of the vehicle. I'm not going to paint this. It will be just prepped, sanded, and clear coated. So this is 1000 grit sandpaper, and we're just going to clean up the body. The plan for the paint job is going to be pretty much this, except I'm not going to do the blue. It's going to be red because I want to keep with some reddish colors for the interior, and we're going to go with the same orange but a lighter and brighter yellow. I want to have some more contrast between the yellow and the orange. So because I start these paint jobs backwards, what I'm going to do is mask off the top of the car, which I want to keep white completely, and then make my way down.
Know when to say when. My little shoe box queen fall all over again. Don't tell me where to be. I never know what to say. Don't say we could be. I don't care.
I don't know if any of you noticed there, but during the video, this masking kind of changed its directions a couple times. And the reason for that is I simply couldn't figure out how to lay down the paint. So at this point here, I have figured it out. We'll shoot the whole thing in red, and then we'll mask off the areas that we want in yellow and orange, spray the gaps between them, the trim line, we'll spray that white, peel it all off, and we should have a beautifully painted shell. But before we do that, we're going to have to primer this bottom section. And again, because the top is going to stay white, we're not going to primer it. But the bed, which is also white, but a different color white, and I don't know how well you can see that, this will also get primered because we want the reds to match. I am also going to spray paint this area here. If you can see that, we're going to shoot this gray. And the reason for that is when we illuminate the body, if I don't spray this gray, because it's white here and white on the outside in this area, we're going to have a lot of light bleed, and I simply don't want that. So shoot a couple coats of gray, both for the front as well as the rear in this area, and then we'll shoot the primer. The body has been primered, hard to see because it's white, and on the inside, it's a little bit easier to see that there's a big gray spot around all of these side markers so that we prevent light bleed later on. The red has been applied, and now what we're going to do is mask off the areas that we want to keep red. I also wanted to mention very quickly, I don't know how well you can see this, but there is right there, you can kind of see it, there is a circle that used to be there. This tells me at some point there was a depression here for a lock tumbler. We'll cover up all the red paint, and then we can go ahead and shoot some primer in the areas that got painted red that we didn't want red, and apply the yellow and the orange. As you can see, the yellow has been applied, and now I'm masking the area I want to keep yellow. I'll do this for both sides, and then we'll do a light coat of primer and then spray the final stripe orange. The orange has been applied. And now we'll mask that off and do our coat of silver to create our trim lines.
Ice or snow, the windshield's cracked, there's a hole in the roof that leaks into my baby Blue Pinto. Some guys say they drive better cars when their mom comes home, they'll walk and I'll climb into my baby Blue Pinto.
The silver's been applied, so that means there's going to be a pinstripe of silver, if this works out, that is, between the white and the yellow and the orange, and the orange and the red. All that is left now is to cross my fingers and take off all the masking tape.
They drive better cars when their mom comes home, they'll walk and I'll climb into my baby Blue Pinto. Capone tie and a bright orange hat, gotta get that pizza there on time. I get off work at 3 a.m., so make sure the party's still on.
And there we have it. Obviously some details to touch up still. It's got to be color sanded. We got to paint the door handles. We got to paint the vent registers on the back of the cab. But overall, the details I think are not too bad. On to the color sanding. Body's all color sanded now, and we can use some of these black pens to give us all the panel gap details. And we're going to start with the small one. Looking pretty good. Let's do the door handles. And the body is now prepared for clear coat. We'll do the rubber around the windshield after the clear coat is dry so that we have that matte differentiation between that and the paint job. The bed is actually clear coated already, if you can see that. It's not color sanded yet, but the bed does have 2 coats of clear, and we'll mask off the inside of the bed and shoot this a low gloss black. I'm very excited to see this all painted. The clear coat went on very nicely. The gloss on it is, it's pretty hard to see on camera, but it's quite good. The next thing I want to do is prepare some of the other parts for installation. So we're going to do some detail painting. As you can see here, I'm going to paint the bumper end caps a matte black. On these 1982 to 1983 Toyota trucks, the end cap on these were rubber. The side markers on the real truck are made of a single molded part which contains the light bulb, and that is all rubber. It then has a colored lens that would go on top. Therefore, I should paint these black, but to be honest, these lenses are very nicely installed. They're probably a press fit. I'm sure if I worked at it, I could get them to pop out, but to be honest, it's not really worth it. I don't mind a little extra chrome on it, as some of the aftermarket ones you actually can get with chrome housings. So the plan is here to simply paint 2 of these amber and the other 2 translucent red. There they are all done. If anybody has any question as to what I use, I'm using metallic red from Testers, it's 1152, and turn signal amber from Testers, 1115. Front bumper is all painted. While we're here, I'm going to go ahead and install this RC 4-wheel drive light kit. The RC 4-wheel drive Trailfinder 2 Mojave is the same body as the Bruiser, roughly. It's actually a little bit better in a few ways, but the light set should allow me to wire up the entire body without any problems, no modifications, and just give me a single plug to plug in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to film this particular part of the installation because it doesn't really have anything to do with the HG-P407 body. But if you would like to see a video on this, please let me know. For the next part, I have to admit that there's some excitement brewing here. We're going to put the front end onto the truck. So let's go ahead and bolt that on. As you can see, the front bumper is installed. The whole front panel is actually installed. Next, the side markers, and we might as well put the side rock sliders on this thing. I'm not really a fan of them in general, but they're better than having a bunch of holes in the body. I used this Tamiya flexible masking tape to mask off the region where the windshield gasket goes, and then I painted it a matte black, and now we're just hoping that it looks good. And as usual, the Tamiya masking tape is quite possibly the greatest stuff on the face of the earth. As you can see, the body has been completed. Pretty happy with how it came out. The gloss is quite good. There's been no color sanding or polishing done to the body whatsoever. The white that you see again is the original color of the truck, simply clear coated. Again, we went ahead and put the Trailfinder 2 front grille on it with some prototype Ampro headlights. This also has the light set. It looks quite good. Well, folks, there it is. The body for the HG-P407 has been completed. There'll be some more upgrades to it in the future, including a better servo, better steering arm, as well as a roll bar. For now, this is it. Hope you all enjoyed watching this episode, and we will see you next time.